Are you fucking kidding me? That's some bullshit. That's some fucking kismet fucking. Yeah, we got 0 viewers anyway. Nice. Alright. Okay, so just for audio's sake. Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, so we're sharing right now. Sharing the show right now. So post on Facebook, post on Twitter. Failed to post to Facebook. Don't know why. Let's see. It says view details. Oh, probably go in there and re-up my Facebook stuff. Okay, so now you can go to Twitter and probably see my tweet, and then you can open up to take a look. There it is. See it? Right there. Now. Okay, so we're going to have to start our weekly show. Here we go. Okay, so see the preview? Let's adjust our camera in the preview since it wants to fall over. So folks, just in case camera might fall over, mirror action. Okay, so here we go. First live show starting right now. Come and check out. There's a delay. Come and check out the show. This is the weekly wrap up. I think that's what we're calling the show. With me, Dante Maddox, and the lovely
Tracy.
And we are a creative duo, and we're gonna do a gang of stuff. And this is my YouTube channel. On this channel right now, you'll see a bunch of like comic book related art and videos, and there's more of that to come. But we're also going to get into a few other types of just web content. And one of those things is podcasting and video casting. So this is going to be our weekly show that we're going to do every week, guaranteed, no matter what. And now you're going to see like us kind of get it together every week as we go forward, getting better and better at putting the show together. And, hopefully, getting a few viewers to come check it out as time goes by. This week we're going to keep it really simple. I got to get back out there because we got day and night jobs, So we're going to talk about 2 things you saw on our title card. Last weekend was the season finale of Power. Some bitch. Dang. I mean, my baby here keeps track of Black Twitter better than I do, and just to say that Black Twitter exploded is an understatement. So we're going to talk about Power, and then we're going to talk about this our topic based on what we saw this week. We saw 2 shows this week that were pretty amazing. We got to finish one of them, and we finished the other one today. And so we're going to talk about horror a little bit. But first, and these little aspects of the show will get better, but this is our first show. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Power, and it is an excellent show. And I'm going to see if I can on the fly camera adjustments. Look at that turkey neck right there. It's awesome. Okay, so baby, what did you think of the final episode of Power last week?
It was good, and it was a little wee surprising, except for the part that got ruined on Twitter, the part of the finale that was ruined, that Angela got killed. But other than that, everything else was that I thought it was a good episode. I didn't know how they were going to do it with Kanan being gone, because he was always a bad guy. And he was always the guy that, they had to fix something afterwards. And it was just, it was good. It was good. It kept me on my toes to the end, to the very end. The finale didn't make me exactly fall out of bed like some of the shit was due, but it was pretty good.
and we'll get to that show, the fall out of the bed show. We'll tease that. Baby, in a second, I think you should on your Twitter account, like share. You know what I mean? Like retweet or whatever. So so people who follow you can know what you're doing tonight. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you're saying. What you guys saying? You gotta be following on the other. It's right there, the Kindle, the fire.
Oh, we're live, right?
We live, baby. So you can tell someone right now. You can tell someone of your Twitter friends right now.
How much time we working with?
We got time. I gotta get back out there and go to work, but we got time. Okay, so as far as power goes, I feel like one thing, Tyreek is like almost Black Joffrey. Like almost. He's almost Black Joffrey. Like you almost want that fool to get it.
That's pretty bad.
The difference is he ain't like running amok. He ain't killing even though he acted like he built for it, which it was just weird though. I thought they were setting him up to play a huge part in the finale of the show, and then at the end they didn't go that route. And that was a huge surprise. But if you consider that there has to be another season, they gotta do more show. To me, I feel like if Tariq does something that takes him past a point of no return at that point in the show, you're almost wondering what they're going to do next, why there's even going to be more show. But now, if Ghost and Tommy are at odds, like really, really at odds, like you can't mend that fence, then that's a dynamic where Tyreek, his loyalties are going to be split. Who knows who he...
What you mean? Him and the whole family.
Right, but think about Tyreek and his dynamic with his mom, with his parents, and with Tommy. Tommy is more like Kanan than Ghost is, and Tyreek really like Kanan a whole lot.
But do you think Tyreek needs somebody like that?
Like Tommy?
Like, he needs that type of person in his life. He need not that Kanan's gone. Now Tommy gonna take the place of Kanan, something along those lines.
It wouldn't surprise me. Especially if Tommy and Ghost have a fallout, and Tyreek, who we're all like, what's wrong with you, is super, or whatever team is not good against his father. So yeah, Tommy's like straight up beefing with his dad, and Tommy's Uncle Tommy since he was a baby, ain't like, you know what I mean? For the show to be a show next season, to have all the beef and all we're used to, all that stuff going down, like, yeah, baby. Check the audio real quick just to make sure I see us. Yeah, but you know what I mean, like just in case. Cool. That's it. Because it'll like we'll get reverb. Okay, cool. So we got audio, and we'll get better. It'll get better. And we got archive footage of our first show. Okay, so now we covered Tyreek. Do you think Angela is dead? Spoiler alert. You had a whole week and no one's watching this video anyway. So, spoiler alert. At the end of the episode, this one character gets shot in the chest. Spoiler alert.
And do I think she's dead? That's a good question. Where she was shot at, usually in the real world, if you would get shot in that area, you are dead. So I'm gonna go for her being dead, and also for the simple fact that I think it'll open up another plot that they need to get into. That's a whole other thing that Ghost has to deal with now. His best friend shot, the love of his life. Where is he gonna go from there? That's a story to deal with. So I think she might be, but I could be wrong. We can get there and some kind of miraculous way of all a dream, and something.
Man, if they did the all a dream thing, heck no.
I don't think they'll do it.
Heck no.
I don't think they'll do it.
All the dream stuff. I could see. The thing is, I don't know if you can still do the show as it's set up now if you lose those three, any of those three. even Tariq could technically not be on the show no more. He's a supporting cast member still. But if you lose Tommy, Tasha, or Ghost, I don't know if you have power. So
That means all three of them in order to make the show.
well, to make the show they're making now, anytime you do something, a major shakeup, you don't know how that's going to go. They could be trying that. They could have Ghost kill Tommy or vice versa. And then it's the same title, but it's a different show at that point. You know, something maybe like that happens. Even Angela was introduced as an addition to those three in the show. You know? So, like, to me, it makes more sense if next season it's Tommy versus Ghost. And they might take shots at each other. They might come close, but for whatever reason, they don't do the damn thing. And with Dre out in the wind, because Dre's whole plan was to go Witsec and then, like, just sneak back into town.
He's gone.
So he could still sneak back into town, you know? So it could be one of those things where they spend the whole season trying to do each other.
So
and then Dre show up at the end and they team up to shoot Dre. And then that's I mean, and I'm down. Because they put together a really nice dynamic between all the characters. And also now you can figure out if Tasha and Ghost are going to try and, like, reconcile.
I think it does.
Maybe. But
Again,
Tommy...
And going back to the question you asked me, so do you think she's there?
Angela? I think that she will die in the first few minutes of the first episode of the next season. That she will be a special guest star in the very first episode. And it'll be him, like, in the back of the ambulance, you know, and they'll do the flashback recap of how they got to that point while they ride, but then she'll be like DOA or whatever. But that'll be it.
Okay.
Like, they'll bring her on, and then that's how they'll do it. So you can have so you do the recap and all that stuff like that. That's what I think. Because at the very, 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 very end of the episode, the last thing you hear is the sound of the EKG machine hearing the heartbeat, which suggests paramedics, which suggests that at least...
okay, I get you.
You know, somebody came and said, you know, and she ain't make it. And he's like, Tommy!
That was somebody EKG.
I'm waiting for Cinema Sins or TV Sins now. So when he goes, Tommy! That's what I'm waiting for. It's going to be awesome. But see, also, that keeps Tariq involved. And also, I think Lala Anthony will get more to do. Because, okay, let me ask you a question about that. Her character, she's been involved since the beginning. And in terms of, like, screen time and lines and stuff to do, yes, but she has, like, almost zero agency. Mm-hmm. But the interesting thing is, they made that an aspect of her character. Like, that was kind of her predicament, having zero agency. Mm-hmm. She's a victim with intent, you know. But all of a sudden, she's now, like, about to be, like, the boss. You know, I'm in on this, we're going to do this together. Do you think that that is a kind of natural sort of her character, or is that sort of the plot needed her to be that, and so they kind of forced her into that?
I think it's a natural progression for a character now, for the simple fact that they put her in a type of predicament by having her use the business as a laundry company. What's wrong?
Oh, I'm just... You go ahead and... You ignore me! Ignore me!
I can't, you're right there.
I know, I'm trying to move to the...
No dancing, baby.
Okay.
You promised me.
I did.
But like I was saying, basically, you know, with what's going on and what's happening, I forgot what I was saying.
We can curse a little bit. I do have an age gate.
Well, it's too late.
I'd rather not curse, ultimately.
What the freak?
Okay, so we were talking about her having no agency, and now all of a sudden having, like, second command to the Empire, keys to the Maserati status. Is that a part of the character that fits? Does that track? I like that term. Does that track for her character from what we've seen so far? And you're like, yeah, I think so. And I would agree. I think that the reason I think that makes sense is because I don't know how many episodes ago it was. It might even been last season when her and Tommy had broken up, but then Tommy showed up to talk to her like one time, and it seemed like for a second she was gonna give him another chance. But then, even though she had confided to Tasha that she really did have feelings for him, when it came down to it, she was like, nah. And for like real reasons, like smart reasons. I'm like, okay, she ain't no dummy. And that's why I feel like once you put it all together, it's like, well, you already got in so much trouble. And you do like that dude.
And she like him a lot. And now I remember what I said, but that is her natural progression. They put her in that position now. If they would have put her in that position, I don't think she would have gotten to that point. But now she's there. Yes, I think she's going to excel there, because she always saw Tasha as being the one who was living that kind of life. Now she's doing it. So she's going to live it to the best of her abilities, because I'm not saying that she wanted Tasha life, but she liked it. She liked the stuff that she had. And now it's her chance. Oh, yeah.
And I think if we went back and watched the first episode to now, and because the show is really smart with this kind of stuff, and we watched every time she was in their house, I bet you she was always like,
she was. Oh, that's nice. She was. She was.
And it's like, it's not jealousy. It's just like, that's nice.
And why can't I have that?
Why can't I do that? Okay. So, I mean, there's been plenty of stuff to speculate on. And we'll both keep an eye on, like, what people are saying across the web. And if something juicy comes up, then we'll talk about it. We got a long season to go. So, let's go on to the next topic, for our first show. But we'll take a quick little break so my baby can tell the folks on Twitter all about our little show here. So we'll be back in like a few seconds. Just a quick little break. Won't be long at all. I don't have any music queued up from the YouTube whatever. So just bear with us. So you might hear us chit-chatting. Won't be long at all. Be right back. Look, I'm even gonna add something right now. I'm gonna be right back. Because I do it like that. Do it right here. Look at this. You gotta respect my internet gangsta.
Internet gangsta have title.
Oh, my sister, I'm gonna make it like scroll. Look at that. Scroll. Live. B-Rig. Be right back. Okay, let me get up for a second. Man, maybe I'm serious. Keep going Twitter, man. Go on Twitter. You have Twitter followers? You have more Twitter followers than I do.
No, I do not.
Yes, you do.
No,
and they're loyal to you. They be like, oh,
Tracy's tweeting. My Twitter followers don't.
Tracy's tweeting.
Yeah, you can put me on there.
Come on.
I'll pull up my Twitter phone.
Okay.
You know, I have it saved on here. You can just, whatever link it, and put it in.
Okay. Are you going to go to the kitchen? Some water? I suppose I better find. Okay, we got that. Okay, computer program. Alright, here we go. You're going to miss my podcast. Oh, see, that's the thing about man. tell if I'm going forward or backward in time with her. This thing, how far back in time is? Oh my goodness gracious! No one new interaction. Maybe that's me right there. Is that me? Dang. I'm gonna look for me. Come on, man. Add some. There I am. This is taking so long. Oh my God, there we go. Okay. Oops, I messed up. Gosh darn it. Okay, alright. Where's my music then? Music. Okay, this is good. Gosh darn ridiculous now. Show all. Here's me for creators. Playlist. Play that noise. Let's see. For the final section tonight for our that is me and oh man, you see that? We're having the camera has been neglected for so long.
I not meaning to get this stroke.
It is upset about all this
camera. We apologize.
I ain't used it in a while. All right, so now we're gonna switch gears just a little bit, and talk about something that is not really my genre cup of tea, but my woman has turned me around to scary stuff.
Yeah, I need somebody to hug after watching this movie.
Speaking of which, I watched something on True TV, the Half My Life. It did say that scary movies release a combination of, hormones and stuff that are very similar to the hormones that are released while you are,
Why am I just hearing it?
Huh?
Why am I just hearing about it?
I saved it for the show.
What else you said?
Well, that's it. You got me out. You caught me out. That's all I had. Nothing else saved for the show. Okay, but so I got me to thinking because she showed me American Horror Story a while back, and I'm just gonna turn this camera to the real. It's not that. It's just, and that sucker is over there. You see that? That's what it is.
That's what it is.
Alright. So, basically, she showed me American Horror Story. Now, we're a few seasons into that show. Wow. You know what? It's his world. So we're just gonna turn them just a little bit like this to see if we can get us both in the frame and let him be the director, because apparently we are messing up. Alright. You know what? We're even gonna accommodate this fool even more and just move her over here. Since the camera wants to be a dick about it. For real.
Oh, the camera's
For real. I'm just serious.
I understand.
Like, I will give it the finger, but it'll probably like just short out and zap me. And yeah, we're gonna be YouTube famous because Skynet started with us. That's what it's gonna come down to. Like, that was the night. Yeah, finally had enough. American Horror Story? No, fools. Okay. But so I didn't see it from the very beginning. But the guys who made American Horror Story, they made a couple other shows I liked, so I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And we started with, what was the one? The Trump one. The one from last season.
Cool.
The cult one. That's when I started. And yeah, the political aspect of it, that's part of the reason I wanted to see it. And I ended up really liking it. The guy who plays Quicksilver in the X-Men movies is super, 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 super dope. And now he's one of those dudes that if he's in something, I want to see it. So we've been watching Pose because he's in Pose. Like, that's why I want to see it. She wouldn't see it for a bunch of other reasons because, she's awesome, the show's awesome. But I would see it because that dude was in it. I want to see what he was going to do in that show because he's awesome. But, like, this season we saw the first episode of Apocalypse. And what did you think of the first episode?
I'm still kind of confused. I'm still... Okay, I had to go back because I was confused. I wasn't confused on what was happening. I understood, it was the end of the world. They have certain people who was able to, be protected, or people who was able to go into the safe house at the end of the world. I understand that part. I also understand the bunker and all of that. I guess the part that kind of confused me, I'm trying to see where they're gonna go. I know they're gonna go somewhere, and I know they're gonna take us there, and I'm gonna be watching with my eyes out here, like they always do, because I finally get to like 3 episodes in or something. It's like, oh, it's boring, but I'm gonna watch one more episode and it'll catch me, because that's what Ryan Murphy seems to do with his stuff. So I know it'll be something that's gonna catch me, but I'm still trying to. I'm at that point where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give me a couple more episodes to reel me in, because right now, because I didn't watch 2 seasons, and the seasons I didn't watch were the Roanoke season, and there was another one before that. I think the one before that, Roanoke. I think it was just Roanoke, and the one before Roanoke. I didn't finish it or something, but I know that one I didn't watch. But I'm just trying to, because I've been watching since Murder House, and it's something that's always, I've been interested in, and I want to continue to watch. So I'm going to watch it because it is American Horror Story, and it's got 2 of my favorites, combined. Murder House, I always thought it was a good one because it was like the penultimate episode, the very first one. Is that what penultimate means?
I think that's the opposite of penultimate.
Okay, don't trace it with the national English. The first episode. So we have the first season, which is Murder House. I liked it, but I really did like Coven, and it's a mixture of that one too. So we're gonna see a lot of old favorites coming back, and plus Jessica Lange is supposed to come back too. And what I do is, and this is just me because I'm a research type of gal, but usually I'll go back and read stuff, and that's what I did after watching this episode. I was confused. I didn't know what was going on, so I had to go back and read a couple of things and see what the reviews said or whatever. And realize that the guy at the very end is the baby that was at the end of the murder house episode, the baby that was born.
Spoiler alert, by the way, no one's watching again, so we care like,
yeah.
you know, but just, you know, because it's the internet, spoiler alert. And I don't even know what that is either, because I didn't see the first season. Like I said, I was the last season, so everything she just said was like, we're just trying to come and watch the show this season, and it's going to be great. Because I haven't watched the previous seasons, my expectations aren't quite the same. I like the idea of each season being a unique story, and also having returning players at that point, because it feels more like a theater company putting on a show per season, and they're picking a new play each season, but those are the folks who work at that theater company. And yeah, you'll have certain people who are new, or certain people who might miss a season, but it just feels almost like what I would imagine Broadway to be like in terms of the work, where you might work on Broadway plays for years and years and years, but it's a different play for as long as that play runs. I guess it's like how it feels, or what I would imagine again. Like I think it's awesome that you can come in the seasons and the actors get to be different characters. It's kind of like the horror equivalent of what the actors get to do on a lot of the superhero shows. I was thinking about that as I was catching up on the past season of all the CW shows, that a lot of the actors get to play alternate versions of themselves. They get to play, you know, basically, alternate versions of themselves, from evil to good and everything in between. And it's funny to me that they also get to play like a duplicate of themselves. They're being mind controlled or whatever, you know. And so I had to think about how much fun that has to be, you know. And then for the people who do American Horror Story, it's probably even more fun, because season to season it could be totally upside down, you know. I just think it's kind of neat in terms of a concept. But our larger topic is that there are a number of shows on TV and such right now that I don't know if we could have gotten that show even on HBO 10 years ago. A number of shows that like are just taking advantage of now. We got American Horror Story, we're watching that. We're watching Castle Rock on Hulu, and I'm sort of playing a little bit of catch up there, but so far that show is, you know. And then we're talking about, and you see our little slideshow. We got Slasher, which we finished. We binged Netflix OG, like straight up all day this morning watching Slasher. I had to know. I think there was like 3 episodes left, and I was like, baby, how many episodes left of that show? She's like,
yeah,
3. You require so long. I said 3. I'm like, okay, let's just do it. I gotta know. I got to know. I can't leave this apartment until I know who is stabbing these people like that. And oh my god, dude, I can't spoil that one because it's like right now.
Let's just say they have some creative ways of killing folk in that show.
Oh my gosh, it draws beautiful parallels to some of the best 80s slasher movies in ways that remind you of like the transition from the Marvel comics to the Marvel movies. Really neat, smart ways to pay homage to like some of the older, like, man, gotta see it. You gotta see Slasher.
Mm-hmm. And that was just season 2. We hadn't finished season 1 yet, because I just saw the preview for season 2, and I just started on my own. I told him, usually that's how we'll watch shows out. Start something, he'll watch something, and then we'll let the other person know, and then we'll dig in. If it's something that we want to get into, we'll be like, okay, we'll just watch the rest of it. And that's what happened with this show. I just happened to see a commercial for it. I was like, that looks interesting. But I wonder if I need to see the first season. So I just put on the second season. I saw it was like a standalone. Well, I haven't seen the first season yet. So as far as I know, I was standalone. But it was good.
I can say I did do a little bit of homework. And if you can see some of our images, some of the images are from the first season. There's an entirely different cast in the first season.
Okay, good.
And an interesting tidbit, speaking of like little coincidences, that one of the major players in the first season is the actress who plays Lena Luthor on Supergirl.
I don't know more about that because
Supergirl's an awesome show. We'll talk about that. I don't want to do this show because in reality we're young, but not as young as other young people. That's just the truth. And so I just turned 40. She just turned 25.
okay, we'll go with that.
There's an asterisk there, but we're just gonna go with that, right?
Yeah, 25. ...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, what happens is we work and we do our creative thing, but I spend a lot of time. My job is social, but it's strangers. So I get to the point where I gotta unload every thought and opinion I have about everything. And I used to be a journalist and a blogger and or like that kind of thing. And I no longer do any of that or that outlet anymore. And so this, besides wanting to promote our comic books and our other creative endeavors, this is how I keep from blowing her out of the apartment with every thought about every pop cultural thing that comes into my small brain. Because so so this is how we're gonna it's therapeutic almost. We're talking comics and movies and video games. So we're venting, and it also gives us a chance to have a third person in the room. Not tonight though, apparently. Maybe next time. If I put this crap on Twitch and played some video games, I might have a couple of viewers.
You have a lot of viewers.
Okay, so the other shows are Black Mirror, as you can see from the little pictures, and Slasher. And I was thinking about comparing American Horror Story being the American show, Slasher being the Canadian show, and Black Mirror being the British show. And I don't think it's fair to say that one show is better than the other. I think that there's plenty of room in the pool these days. Thanks to streaming, the pool became infinite. So there's plenty of room to watch all three shows. And if you like horror, I just think that if you're a horror fan, like if Rob Zombie is your dude, then TV is awesome right now. Like it is for a lot of people who like a lot of things. I mean, you saw those thumbs. Who has two thumbs and loves that shit?
I love it. I'm addicted to horror stuff, and I have to watch myself because I know that he's not a big horror buff like I am. But I'm like, at one point I was extreme. It was like Asian horror. But I calmed down.
That stuff is so good though. It's undeniable. Like, okay. Sometimes stuff can be a little too gory. Sometimes, I'm just like, wow, I didn't need it, But Slasher.
But the name of the show is Slasher, baby.
And it wasn't even comedic gore. Like, you know what I mean? It was like serious. Like they were trying to gross you out.
It does not lie. Where's the lie? It is called Slasher.
It wasn't too much. There was a couple of things.
Creative ways. We'll just say creative ways of killing people. I didn't realize that if you apply pressure with a snowmobile, I'll just stop there.
No, it's not that it was that gross. It's just that's a good example. That's a good example because, again, I have an age gate up I think on YouTube, but I don't know, so I don't want to curse too much. But there was a part of the show. Oh, we're black. I know you can see, but I just want to point that out. So we do talk during the shows, and it's horror, so.
Is this a thing in Melanie?
Bitch run. Bitch, run. Don't fall.
Okay,
don't fall down.
Yeah, okay, that's yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. That happens while we're watching these shows. You know.
Oh, you're saying we converse with the spirit.
And as someone who doesn't always love horror movies, I find myself getting really irritated with the victims. And a lot of times, I'm like rooting for whatever the horrible thing is that is going to murder everyone. Like I'm a lifetime Clipper fan, so I'm just like an underdog for real. So knowing that my guy's gonna lose doesn't change how hard I root for him to win. You know, because of course it's down to the virgin. You know, you can get it. You can get her. You can. She's only one left. You know, only one left. You can get her. And of course, you know, a car comes out of nowhere and crushes my guy, and he's dead now. I'm like, you were the perfect swarm of angry bees that came to life and murdered everyone in the town, and now you failed. You failed. You only had one more to murder. You know.
Yeah, one job.
Because it's a town full of awful people. Like in most horror films, awful people get their comeuppance until like the one person who may not be awful gets lucky at the end and like gives the monster some candy ultimately.
So do you think all of the people that got killed in this movie deserve it?
But see, okay,
in this series,
that was the cool thing about Slasher, because it was definitely like an homage to like the tropes. Absolutely it was.
You were saying something about like Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah, because I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
But it tells its own story. It exists as it does. It does not rely on any other formula or anything to do what it does. It just uses those things in different forms, but in the middle of that, at its core, are developed characters, beginning, middle, and end, that is all its own, you know? So it's great in that regard. And so because of that part of it, its own self-awareness, the characters, even though they fall into those tropes, it still works. Mm-hmm. Because there is a character for every one of those stereotypical tropes. However, the complexity in the development of the characters, like, just takes advantage of all that. So I don't know. It's the way they put it together. You're rooting for the bad guy until you're not anymore. And me, as a not really a horror person, and like that's the thing about the comparison. Like, okay, so Black Mirror and American Horror Story just aren't doing that. You know, Black Mirror. It's not fair to compare that to Twilight Zone anymore. It's fair to compare it to a horror situation.
And I was thinking that too. I was just thinking, you know, we would say it was horror, but I think Black Mirror could be in the sci-fi / horror trope, because most of this, I'm looking now for shows. I'm trying to think of one episode that I would call horror, if it makes sense, because it's like more of like a psychological horror as you know, opposed to like a gory horror like Slasher. It's two totally different things. And what's wrong with you looking at?
Bring that mouse, the other mouse. Sorry, folks. Sorry.
See, but
oh, and it says on her. She's causing it all the time. I am a jerk. I am a total jerk.
What?
It says on your butt, I'm a jerk. It says you're a jerk. You're a jerk. I got the power of the mouse. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna share via Twitter. Alright. And so we're about to wrap it up because I gotta get back out there and earn that 9 to 5. Alright. So, wait a minute, you gonna scoot up next to me. Get on in there. Get on in there. Lock it in, dog. Lock it in, dog. Lock it in. Lock it in.
I'm not a dog. I can't school.
Okay. So we are. Okay. So to wrap it up, our kind of all over it a little bit thing with these 3 horror shows, Black Mirror is to me the most aptly titled of the 3 shows, because it does kind of show you through the lens of the thing you're always stuck staring at. It works to that degree. And that's why in terms of horror, I think they call it that, is to kind of like undermines what it's trying to do, because horror is an aspect of fantasy, I feel like, and I don't think Black Mirror is supposed to be fantastic. Not in that regard. It's supposed to be like a warning, like careful dummies, but it still fits that niche for people who want to be scared. And like I said, like it's the whatever your deal is, whatever your bag is in terms of what you're gonna watch on the small screen, I feel like there's not a person out there who feels like their genre is not represented right, unless you're in some kind of weird thing that should put you in jail, and I can't help you. You know what I mean? If you're some kind of weird thing, but like if you're, I mean, heck, even westerns are good on television right now. Hell on Wheels, Justified. Even though they're probably both canceled. I just talked off my face. What does it say? Talked out of your face. I talked out of my face just now.
Talking in my head. Looked like I was catching a seizure or something.
Your TV shows are good now, is what I'm saying. They're good now. And they weren't always good before. I mean,
but they, I get what you're saying, because like True Grit, I like it, but it's not, I mean, westerns, I don't think we're going to have like western. But
what about Westworld? Is that like our pins and needles?
But Westworld,
is that how we're going to end our show? Oh my God, okay, that's how we're going to do it. That is how we're going to end our show. We are going to end our show like the guy in PCU who finally sees the movie with Michael Caine and Michael Douglas in the same movie, and he can finally stop watching TV. We finally made our random connection. We were talking about westerns being good modern day and horror being good modern day, and all of a sudden we stumbled upon Westworld, which is considered a sci-fi western by definition. Mm-hmm. So they call it that. So we can call it that. And we can stop doing this episode now because we've discovered it.
So we're going to go eat more cookies and cream Pop-Tarts?
Cookies and cream Pop-Tarts. Yes. And I'm going to go to work. So, good night, folks. Next week, she's going to wave in a second again. That was a premature wave. There was no prompt. Uh-oh. I saw that look. Well, because we're not quite ready to say goodbye yet. And we want to look there when we say goodbye.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But next week, for sure, we're going to talk about Insecure. I am going to go and... Yes. Oh, she fell out of bed when she saw Lawrence last week.
Yeah, that's what made me fall out of bed. When Lawrence came on the screen, I literally fell out of my bed. I'm okay because I already have a knot back there, so it's just pushing the other knot.
I did not put the knot there.
No, he doesn't.
I use a bag of oranges and I go fill eggs. Okay, that's not dumb. Okay. Thank you for laughing because that would have been horrible right there. I can see it now. See?
I was trying to get
it now. Okay. I don't see Insecure typically because I'm not home for Insecure, so I try and catch up to it in the morning tomorrow after I watched last week tonight and whatever. Oh, Venture Brothers. So we know for sure we'll talk about Insecure next week. I would like to talk about Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff for a little bit next week too, maybe. I got some Thanos stuff to share, but I want to do a little bit more reading to see more about the overall internet's attitude about Thanos. Also, I'm looking at getting this camera like maybe super glued to the desk so it don't move. Or the wall!
You know, I have some other videos for that.
Those will be on Pornhub. Under the pay us not to do this section. I will put my clothes back on as soon as that number hits 35. Like, that's what we're doing. 35 donations to not do this. That's what we're going to do on our videos.
Okay, we gotta stop because we gotta stop.
Okay, we gotta stop. So next week for sure, Insecure conversation.
Yeah,
if something else happens this week coming up, fingers crossed. it's just the normal amount of crap from the White House and whatever. We're still not sure how much we want to talk about, like the demo goblin that's in the White House. We're not sure yet how much we're talking, because that's why I don't really do Twitter anymore right now, because if the president can do Twitter and threaten other countries,
you're going.
Like, yeah, see, and she knows what she knows. She knows. So good night, folks. Now we're gonna wait. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay. All right. We did it. We're done. Yay! Wait. Get rid of that. Be right back. Text. No, it's gone now. We're done.
We going.